The unique parts are Article 214, which talks of its dedication to democracy, to peace, prosperity, and to justice.
He gave his word that he would work tirelessly to meet expectations. This short but inspiring speech by the new Chief Justice was warmly received by cabinet members who expressed the hope that the new man at the top of Gambia's judiciary would help expedite the backlog of cases, something of major concern to government.
And we want to reassure you that you will receive the support of the cabinet, you will receive the support of the Gambia government to ensure that the Gambian people receive the justice that they are seeking for.
I would like to encourage the newly appointed Chief Justice to work well with your colleagues. The job of the Chief Justice is not a difficult one, but you need to be committed to the job. It doesn't only require you to be an adjudicator, but you need to be an administrator as well. And in order to be an effective administrator, you need to work well with your staff, carry them along in all that you do. And I have no doubt in my mind that you will do an excellent and fine job.
And whatever you need from the government, because I know that there are instances when you would need something from us as well. The Attorney General's office is open. She represents us at the level of the executive. And she can also facilitate, she and her team, of course, can facilitate your access to anything that any of us should be able to provide so that you can make your work easy.
For a president who places so much importance on the judiciary and justice delivery, President Jammeh didn't mince his words, reminding the three appointees and his audience that every appointment comes with responsibility, and the challenge, he said, is to meet the expectations of the Gambian people. Justice Nawal's Johan's knowledge of the Gambian Constitution struck well with the President's expectations, who unequivocally assured them of his faith in their ability and integrity.
Justice is universal, but constitutions are unique. You are sworn in as Chief Justice of the Gambia to implement Gambian law. These laws are not promulgated by the President, they are promulgated by the people of the Gambia, so that every Gambian and anybody in this country would live according to the laws of this country, so that there will be peace and order in this country.
The President also dismissed the positive notion of complete independence of any judiciary anywhere, emphasizing that the judiciary, like the other arms of government, is an inseparable organ of the state, but was quick to assure that the executive would not interfere in cases before the courts.
The judiciary is independent in only one aspect. How you judge, you are independent. But if you become, how can the wheel of a car or the steering wheel be independent of the car? It's not possible. You are part of the government, and so you cannot be independent of government. What government cannot do is dictate to you what your judgment should do. This is where your independence is. Apart from that, there is nowhere in the world where the judiciary is independent of government.
The Gambian leader also advised the judiciary to work according to the laws of the Gambia as enshrined in the Constitution, saying the Gambia would not be dictated to by any power in the name of good governance, as his record over the past 20 years speaks for itself.
If you stand up and be independent, especially for a Muslim, you are a dictator. I'm proud of that title. I'm proud to be a dictator of development and liberation for my people than a Democrat that will rob my people and plunge them into abject poverty. I will never be that Democrat. Facts and fiction. The beauty of fiction is that it's so intriguing, but you never lay hands on it. The beauty of facts is so blatant that you can never deny it. What do I mean by that? Good governance, yes. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat because I'm not a follower, I'm a ruler. I rule according to the interests of my people, and that's it. I didn't rule this country for 400 years. But at least today people are seeing me on television, even in UK. I have a university. Today, even the children of beggars can go to university. It's not based on whom you know, but what they know.
The three new officials listened keenly as President Jammeh spelled out his vision and mission, as well as his expectations of the judiciary, which by all accounts has taken another step with the appointment of these three experienced judges. Mamadou Diallo, Grts.
We'll be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break. Welcome back. Human rights organizations are up in arms with authorities in Niger over the extradition of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi's son, Sadi, to Libya. Gaddafi Jr. was granted asylum on humanitarian grounds at the height of the rebellion that ended his father's 40-year-plus rule. We have more in this report.
Members of a Libyan militia made up of former rebels, the Tripoli Revolutionaries Brigade, celebrated the decision by Niger to turn over Sadi Gaddafi, a son of the late dictator Muammar Gaddafi, to Libyan authorities. He is seen here in jail in Tripoli, kneeling on a mattress while one of his jailers shaves his head and beard. Libya had repeatedly called for his extradition from Niger, which had granted him asylum since 2011 on humanitarian grounds, saying it did not believe he would get a fair trial in Libya. Several human rights organizations denounced the decision to hand him over. Niger and Cameroon adhere to the Geneva Convention. So we would have preferred that the authorities in Niger communicate this news directly to us in Niger, but not the manner in which we heard about it, which was by international channels. We are very angry about that. 40-year-old Sadi Gaddafi fled across the Sahara Desert to Niger during the 2011 uprising that saw rebels capture and kill his father, ending his 4-decade dictatorship. His 3 brothers were killed during the uprising. Sadi was best known as the head of Libya's Football Federation. Interpol accuses him of misappropriating properties through force and armed intimidation during that time. His extradition was commented on in the press. Libya continues to house influential members of rebel groups, and they can cause problems for us all along the border. We cannot risk angering the new leaders in Libya. It is part of geopolitical strategy. The Justice Minister in Niger refused to comment on Sadi Gaddafi's extradition to Libya. Around 30 senior Gaddafi regime officials are believed to have entered Niger at the same time as Sadi, but the authorities in Niamey have not said how many remain in the country.
Tens of thousands of Venezuelans, led by President Nicolas Maduro, have been commemorating the first anniversary of the death of their charismatic former leader, Hugo Chavez. Elsewhere in Caracas, though, violent protests against record inflation, rampant crime, and a chronic shortage of basics like bread continue. Details in this report.
Cannon shots rang out at 4:15 on Wednesday afternoon to mark the precise time Hugo Chavez died a year ago. A series of ceremonies were organized to pay tribute to the former president of Venezuela. His successor, Nicolas Maduro, launched the day's commemorative events.
Hugo Chavez was, without a shadow of a doubt, the greatest defender of democracy, of the political life of the country, since our republic was founded 200 years ago.
This military museum is the final resting place of the former commander. His mother, Elena Chavez, has gathered there with the heads of state of neighboring countries, the Bolivian Evo Morales and the Nicaraguan Daniel Ortega. After the religious ceremony, a military procession, dozens of tanks, troops and helicopters brandishing the national flag before crowds of Venezuelans.
We haven't forgotten Comandante Chavez. He is present in our memory, though he disappeared physically a year ago, and we will always hold him in our hearts.
In this area of the capital also, Chavez is still present. Some followers of the